Thanks, Heinz, and welcome to episode 8 of Owen Lewis Raw Conversation. And sitting in with me today is Max Butler, who we're going to talk to. He's an artist, he's been a teacher and a headmaster. And we just had a sit down before the podcast and had some lunch with him and his wife, and my wife and Gary. So thanks, Max, for coming on.
Great to be here. Thank you.
This is the first time you've been down here.
Yes.
How do you like it down this way?
They're very nice. I can see why a lot of people come here to live. Yeah, and a lovely area that you live in. Lovely new suburb.
It is, and me and Karen are really enjoying it being down here. And amazingly, today is November the 23rd. We've been down here 12 months already.
Have you really? Good
Yeah.
grief. Yeah,
It's going fast, hasn't it?
Yeah, my word.
Okay. Max, again, I thanks you for coming on. We're going to hear about your years as being a teacher, headmaster, and an artist. And I was even told by a little bird that you might have done some acting as well.
Just as an extra, mainly, but had a few small speaking parts.
Okay, I can't wait to hear it.
Okay.
No, it's good. Good. Anyone, to be doesn't matter about it being an extra. You can say you've been there.
Yes.
Excuse me. One thing I normally do when we come on, I have 3 questions. I have the top, the middle, or the bottom, and I'm going to give you that. Ask you to read it out, and then give me your answer. So I don't know which one you're going to pick. We're going to see which one you would want to pick.
Okay.
Which one?
Oh, I see. Even without, okay, let's go number 2.
Number 2. Okay. There's number 2 for you. I'll let you open up and read that. Make sure you're close to that microphone.
If you had to pick one book, and it is the only book you could own and read, what would it be? Oh, I don't read.
You don't read?
Not much. I'm reading a book right now called Eureka by Peter Fitzsimons. He writes big novels.
Okay.
Wonderful research. So I like them. There's another book by Bill Bryson called World Without End.
Okay. No, you're not a reader.
Probably that one. But but I read probably 3 books a year.
Okay. If you're not a reader, that's fine. Well, right. I'll just pick one out. We'll ask you another question. That's fine. If you're not a book
writer. I don't have time to read.
No, I can't wait to hear about that. We'll see with this question.
If you could say anything to your parents now and they are able to hear, what would it be?
There you go.
It would be thank you for always being loving and loyal to us and for all that you sacrificed so that we could have the life we had. I had wonderful parents.
Oh, that's amazing.
Dad owned a cattle property.
Okay.
And battled droughts and bushfires and all that sort of thing. But it never whinged, never complained, but worked very hard and did everything he could for us kids.
The hard yucca time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. As I always say, we always start away. I'm going to ask you this. Can you remember, the street or the house number you grew up in, and where was it?
Definitely. No street, no house number.
No, okay.
I lived on a cattle property.
Okay.
I come from a town called Miles in Western Queensland, lovely little town.
Yes.
And we lived on a cattle property 15, 20 kilometres out of town.
Okay.
11,000 acres of good cattle country, good grass and melon holes and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And Dad was a weaner breeder. He was one of the biggest weaner breeder in the district, which means you separate the cows from the calves, sell the calves as weaners.
Okay.
And that's how he made his money, and that's how he looked after the property.
Okay.
So I grew up on that. So there's no house number. The house is just a typical farmhouse.
Yeah.
Facing a big open space there where they'd fell all the timber around it to make a little bit of a clearing there.
Yeah.
But my brother and I and my sister, we played outside all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your dad and mum.
Well, Dad was in the World War II, and they met just during the war. And he went away. He went all overseas. They went to the Middle East and to India and places like that. And she never knew when he was going to come back alive.
Yeah.
And they used to say that in those days, the railway station was the saddest place in Miles because that's where all the wives and girlfriends and parents said goodbye to their sons and as they headed off to Brisbane and then overseas to battle. Mm-hmm. So it was so he did that. And he was a really good, honest man. He was in lots of different organisations in Miles. He'd drive in at night time and go to meetings, and he really was community interested.
Yeah.
And Mum was a wonderful cook. Mum just put up with the hardships of being there. We had my grandfather living with us also and a couple of workers.
Yeah.
and she fed all of them and washed all their clothes and did the housework and raised us three kids. And so she had it tough, really, but she was great. She was just a very loving mother.
And you were alive when your father went away?
No, the war ended in 40. No,
45?
he heard about me. He was in New Guinea, I think,
Okay.
when he heard that I was born,
Okay.
and he was in overseas in Middle East when he heard my brother was born. So no, so he came home to find his boys both times. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
And like you said, it's a hard time because
yeah,
in that time, a lot of sons and fathers went away, and the wives and wives came the strength of both part of the family, the dad and the mums and the workers and
yeah,
the everything of the towns and the houses, didn't they?
yeah, definitely. My grandfather, he was a pioneer in the whole district.
Okay.
He pioneered that area, and the road from Miles, the 20 kilometres out to our property, is called Butler's Road. There's a sign there as you travel off the main Western Highway.
I have never known that.
Butler's Road is out along our road, yeah, named after him. He was a councillor of the Marilla Shire Council for over 20 years,
Yeah.
and never missed a meeting. He'd come in from out there to all the meetings in town, even in floods and drought. He always rode his horse in sometimes because you had to swim across the creeks to get there.
Okay.
Wonderful man, yeah.
Okay. So
Real,
that must be a real great part of family history to travel out and see, that the road and that history,
yeah.
what it's named after.
It is really, yeah. Unfortunately, the house is not there. The house was when they bought us out in '68,
Yeah.
mainly because Dad wanted to pass it down the generations, but
Mhm.
the droughts kept crippling us, and the bank ended up owning more of the place than we did, so he had to sell it, sadly,
Yeah.
and that was in May 1968, and he moved into town.
Okay. Tell me a bit about, you said, was it a brother and sister you have?
I got an older brother, Terry,
Yep.
and a younger sister, Patricia,
Yeah.
and so we grew up there, and I started school by correspondence
Yes.
for the first 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And then when I was 7 years old, I managed to get a bus to come down not far from our place. And
Mhm.
so from a little place called Drillham, which is
Okay.
west of Miles on the Western Freeway.
Yeah.
And when I was 7 years old, my brother and I caught our horses and
Mm.
we rode 5 kilometres through the bush,
Yeah.
following marks that Dad had cut on trees so that we could find our way there.
Yeah.
And there we found a little yard that he had built, and we
Yeah.
let our horses go there and then some water for them.
Oh.
Then we waited beside the road, and a truck came along, which was our school bus. It was just an old truck with a few long seats in the back.
Yeah.
That took us 20 kilometres or more to Drillham State School, one teacher's school.
Oh my
And
God.
that's where I did my primary schooling.
It's amazing for people who are listening, them old things, are hearing that, your grandfather or dad rode, so many miles on a bike or walked through the
Yes,
snow. It's true. It's not made up stories,
that's
are
right.
they?
That's true.
It's true. We're so lucky these days with the advance in, transport and what we got out there these
I've got
days.
no idea what life was like in those days.
Te-
But it was happy. It was very happy and peaceful. That was my feeling of my childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it is your brother and sister
No, my brother passed on about 5 years ago.
Okay.
He was a champion wood chopper, chopped at the
Okay.
Brisbane exhibition and the Sydney Royal Show,
Oh,
and also well known as a country singer. He made lots of tapes of his music. He's singing. He used to sell them to people around the district,
okay.
and he also owned the taxi service out at Miles back in the 60s and 70s. Yeah,
No,
so that's what he did. Yeah,
he must have grumbled when Uber and all that came and the change to
oh yeah. He'd gone before then,
yeah.
but he lost his wife to cancer when she was 43, and he had a daughter,
Yes.
who's still alive.
Okay.
But he was very lonely, and he spent a lot of his time down at the local pub.
Yeah.
He wasn't a drunk,
No.
but he used to just sit there of an afternoon because there were people around there, and he'd sit at the window facing the outside. The outside was the Warrego Highway, the main Western Highway.
Okay.
He just watched all the traffic. He said, "I'd just love to sit here and watch the world go by," because to him that was his world.
Yeah.
And just before he died, I took a photo of him sitting there,
Yeah.
and I turned that into a painting
Okay.
of Terry sitting, looking at, watching the world go by with his one eye. He had one eye removed for cancer.
Okay.
And the pub, the hotel, wanted that painting, so it's on the wall in the Australia Hotel at Miles.
That's fantastic.
My painting of him, and it's called Terry's View, looking
Okay.
at the world, and it'll probably be there forever. I don't know.
That's fantastic.
That's
And
lovely.
again, I never known that
Yeah,
because of course our families are connected. So
yeah.
that's great.
He's a great bloke, very easygoing, nice fella.
And
Yeah.
and even when you say he sat there and it wasn't about drinking at the pub.
Yeah.
There's meditation, there's yoga, and just sitting there. It's
Just
it's a
peaceful.
form of a meditation
It
itself.
is.
You know, you don't have to sit and uh, uh, legs crossed. You know, if you do that, that's fine. Or
Yeah.
you might go to the bush for your meditation, or go to church or whatever. But there's all forms of meditation, and if that was his way of finding peace,
Yeah.
it's an amazing
It
place
was.
to get to, isn't
He
it?
loved it. Yeah, and they looked after him very well at the hotel. He was
Have-
a regular. You might as well say a regular there. You know.
Yeah, and especially in them days of small towns and that. Okay, so you went through just a little bit. Primary school would have been different in them
Yeah.
days to now. Tell me how many kids were in the class and kind of how primary school was in.
Well, it was a one teacher school, and I suppose there were about 30 or 30 children in the school,
Yep.
and probably 2 or 3 in each grade. And strangely enough, about 15 years later, I was principal of schools like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not knowing that one day I would be.
Yeah.
But we had a very happy time at Artstate School. Yeah, and I went from there just as I finished there. They opened a high top at the primary school in Miles, grade 8.
Okay.
So I was able to go straight to high school in Miles.
Yeah.
And I became the first dux of the school there.
Okay.
Up on the honour board in Miles State High School.
And through that time, did you get a best friend?
Oh, I had a few, quite a good, yeah. My best mate at Drilling was Robbo Vaughan.
Yep.
Then at Miles, I had Ray Turvey, Ken Stone, Jim LaCorrie, and a few girls that I thought were quite nice too.
Okay.
I don't know what they thought about me. But,
Okay, yeah, that's what we all do, and we sometimes think about what our wives think about us these days
yes,
too, don't we?
We do.
Yeah,
All the time.
yeah. We're not sure if they love us at all, but we
I'm pretty sure mine does.
yeah,
She's a good old chick. Yeah.
and that's what I'll say about Karen. As you know, it's amazing wives. I said this to Karen the other day, and you know, your children and your wives. It's amazing. They can say anything to you. They can get angry as anything to
Yes.
you. But don't you love wives? But if someone else says something about you,
Yes.
they're the ones who'll kill before a guy, don't
They will.
Mate?
They'll defend you to the core. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
definitely.
love that. There's just something in you know, a wife or a mother. They just got this thing that I can say anything, but if anyone does, Mother Bear's coming for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so you moved into high school. What were your thoughts when you were in high school of what were you thinking of going to the farm?
Actually, my parents always went to church. And
Okay.
took us to church, and I became very interested in church. And I had a Bible in pictures that I read over and over and over, so I got to know the Bible that way.
Mhm.
And so at one stage, I thought I was going to become a church minister.
Okay.
Because I've always known God and I love God. I still do.
Mhm.
But then I didn't know what I wanted to be. I didn't want to work on the land because my skin's too fair. Working out in the sun would be no good for me like that. And it wasn't until I finished. I went away to senior at Toowoomba State High School, Mount
Okay.
Lofty,
Yep.
and did 2 years of high school there. And when I finished, what am I going to do now?
Mhm.
And I saw an advertisement in the paper saying teachers needed.
Good.
So I thought, I'll try that. I couldn't have chosen a better career, honestly. Yeah,
no.
loved it.
Okay.
And so I went to Teachers College then in Brisbane for 2 years.
Okay. And how long did it take to become a teacher in those days? Was 2
Yeah,
days? 2
in
years?
Teachers College was 2 years.
Yep.
During that time, I went to a dance at Cloudland, which is a big ballroom.
Yes,
Have you heard
yeah, I
of
know Cloudlands, yep.
Everybody went to Cloud. Even Buddy Holly played at
Yeah,
Cloudland,
and
which is
it came apartment building, didn't it? The
it
original
did, it did eventually.
Yeah, it used to have a floating floor, didn't it?
Yeah, the floor was on springs.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know
But
Cloudlands.
everybody went there, and that's where you met somebody.
Yep, I remember.
And I went there. It was a Thursday night. I just wanted to go out. My mates that I boarded with, they said, no, we went to study or something. So I went by myself. I don't know why, but anyway, I went by myself. And there she was, 17 years old.
Yep.
Just 17, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I saw her sitting there.
Yeah.
And I asked her to dance. And honestly, we fell in love in that first dance.
Really?
We just hit it off so well. And
Okay.
that was it. She was mine for the night then. And then we
Okay.
took her home. And now we still love her just as much as I did then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's Pam, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, that's right.
So you're at, and we'll get to Pam more. When were you? So you went through the
Teachers College.
teacher
2
college,
years,
2 years, and how was that? What was that time like?
Great times. I bought a little Honda motorbike.
Yep.
50cc Honda, really, really cool hot rod.
Yeah.
Like fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had a few pranks on that. But that was the
Okay.
first year. Then the second year, I bought a car, a little red Mini.
Yeah. The little
It was
minis. Yeah.
bright red, and I put white wall tyres around it, and I had little white bobbles around the back windows, and I had
Okay.
Beatles pictures stuck all over the dashboard.
Okay.
2 aerials with red ribbons streaming from them.
Okay.
No radio, but
Oh.
2 aerials.
Okay.
I thought I was just it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so
And college was great. You know, you just go to college every day and you
yeah.
walk around to your friends and listen when you want to, sort of thing.
Okay.
I
And
didn't study very hard there.
you didn't?
Not really, no.
Ah.
Much fun, you know.
Actually, talking about not studying, it's something I thought of saying to you, and at the end I asked you. I wasn't the best student at school.
Right.
I think I was a bit of what the student sometimes the teacher wish wasn't in class.
Right.
But I wasn't rude. I think I was just that cheeky one. But the teachers liked it, so I was that one who had a bit of cheek too.
That's good.
So at the end, I'm going to ask you a little bit about. Tell me, I'm going to ask you as a headmaster and a headmaster and a teacher. I want you to give me a bit of a mark on how you think I went today with some research and how I suppose I have presented my project. How's that?
Yeah.
So you
sure.
watch this closely. So
Right.
you can give me some marks. You can give me a B minus, an A, whichever you want. Okay.
You're doing okay so far.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Okay. So after uni, of course, and we'll talk about Pam. You went into teaching. Where was your first teaching?
I was assigned to Wandoan State School. Now, Wandoan's only about 80 kilometres north of Miles, so it's sort of in my home stamping ground.
Mhm.
Little town of about 300 people, I suppose.
Okay.
And I had my first class was a class of year fives, 10-year-olds,
Yep.
and I had 51 kids in that class.
Oh,
51 straight out of college, and they were great.
yeah.
I
Okay.
just love those kids, and I'm still in touch with a lot of them. Sometimes they have a little get together and they find me somewhere and invite me along, and just to have time with them,
Okay.
and like a barbecue or lunch or something like that.
Okay.
And they're all now 70.
Yep.
Those kids are now 70. Good
Oh.
grief.
And how old are you?
I'm 81.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I'm a real old bloke.
No.
I feel about 51, quite honestly.
How you talk and how you're with it. You seem you wouldn't guess that.
Well,
Trust me.
people keep telling me that, but I don't know.
Well, it's true. You know, no one has to lie to you. I wouldn't
Yeah.
guess. I wouldn't have said you were that age. I thought you were in the 70 or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had 3 years on staff there at
Yep.
Wandoan, and then there was a little one-teacher school down the road called Galoogabar. Now, Galoogabar is a school that one of our Deb Frecklington. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's a Justice Minister, Attorney General for Queensland.
Okay.
She went to that school, and I met her out there once at a junior.
Oh, okay. Yep. No, I know who you
But
mean.
it was, I had 43 kids there in all 7 grades.
Okay.
Grades 1, 2, 3, up to 7, all there, 43 children, and just me.
Okay.
Just me. And that was hard work, because what are you going to do to the grade 1s while you're teaching the grade 7s, or the grade 5s going to be doing? Then you've got to get you're flat out all day.
Yeah.
But I loved it, and I love those kids. They were great kids too.
Okay.
And a few years ago, I met the present principal of Galoogabar State School,
Yep.
and she said, "Oh, there are 2 teachers there now." I
Okay.
said, "Oh, okay." She said, "And also got an office assistant and 2 part-time teacher aides.
Oh.
I've got a visiting load teacher, visiting phys ed teacher, visiting music teacher,
Oh my
and a
God.
part-time cleaner and part-time groundsman."
Oh.
I said, "How many kids are there now?" She said, 13.
Oh. And they probably got air conditioning as well.
They got air conditioning, carpets on the floor.
Yeah.
And I even had to dig a hole every Friday afternoon to bury the school toilets.
Oh.
And I had to sweep the school out. So I was the cleaner and the groundsman and the teacher and the principal, did all the administration. And I was 23 years old.
Okay, but it must have gave you so much more values in what you do, how you look at the world, and
Possibly.
more experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
See, there were country kids too, and country kids, I think I'm just somehow more loyal somehow. And I don't want to say that, because I'm really close to my city kids too.
no, I suppose
But
they're a
they
little
were
bit more original because they don't get all that extra stuff of the city
true.
stuff. You can say is a bit original to the world. They don't know all the all the extra stuff you can get into the city, where
Yeah.
it would have been just one shop here.
Oh, the Galoogabar had a store,
Yeah.
which was the service station and the bank and the post office and the bus run, and it's just one store and a couple of railway houses and the school. That was it.
Yeah,
And
and
10 people in the town.
it's a nice life anyhow. It's an easy life. I mean, you can say you could live there for the rest of your life.
No, I wouldn't want.
No, but we go to a place, me and my Kara and my wife, called Oluka, and it's just a nice.
I know, Luca.
How nice is it? You know, one post office, one pub, one
Yes.
this,
Yes.
and you can live there for a certain amount of time. We love it, but you can feel the difference in the peace and
Definitely.
the feeling of people around you, can't you?
Yeah. Living in a country town, I think, is wonderful, really. Most people would enjoy living there, whether they're on a cattle property just outside of town or whether they're in the town itself. You know everybody. Everybody will support you if you have a bad time.
Mhm.
And no traffic snarls. You know.
Yeah.
No mad rush all the time. It's just nice and peaceful. Country living's good.
Yeah. I I have talked to a few people already on the podcast, and I was talking to a person who's called Simon J. Heath, who directed a special a documentary on the special forces in Australia with their dogs who went to Afghanistan and
Oh,
Iraq.
right.
And I was talking to him about first responders, the ones who ran into the buildings on 9/11, then the soldiers who went overseas.
Yeah.
But in a way, I wouldn't call it exactly the same first responders, but in a way, you're a responder as a teacher and headmaster because uh, there's a lot of children who come with from different religions, different backgrounds,
Mm.
economic different, and you have to uh, try to look at them all the same.
Yeah.
Plus, try to give a certain amount of care. And when you do see some children who may have some issues, you've got to be very careful where you keep your borderline of how close you get to them.
Definitely. Yes.
But it must be hard because you want to show emotion, but you got to be very careful. How did you handle that?
Yes. Well, the thing is, we do know all about the families. Well, not all about the families,
Yeah,
but
yes, I can see.
we know which kids are doing it tough, which families are having a bit of a battle, whether it's a personal battle or emotional battle or hardships, financial hardships. We know which kids are doing it tough. Uh, and as a result, we get to know the children very well. In fact, I think most teachers know the children even better than their parents a lot of the time,
Yeah,
because they go home and mum and dad are just both rushing home from work. They're going to get tea ready, get your homework done, and that's it. Go to bed. They don't really see as much of their parents as they do their teachers. They're with their teachers for 6 or 7 hours every day,
yeah,
and really, really close association. So we know the children very well, and we know which ones need a bit more love and attention.
yeah.
Yeah.
And is it very hard at times to, like I said, you there's only a certain standard and a certain way you can get involved in a child who
Yes.
might be going through a bad time at home or anything.
Yes.
I mean, it must be emotional sometimes because you must take some of that home at times because what's going on if there's trouble at
Mm.
home and there's not much you can do because the law, I suppose, has a point when they can only interact or stop what's happening there. Is it
Yeah.
hard to take some of that emotion home at times?
At times, even though I never had a lot of it,
Yeah.
I'll have to say right through my career, I can only half a dozen children that had those sort of problems.
Mm.
Um, but no, that didn't really upset me too much. You got to know where to draw the line. That if you're trying to help the kid, you're not intruding into the family. Also, the family's got to want your involvement like that.
Mm.
Um, but no, I can't say that I had any trauma from that really.
Okay,
No.
that's good. And just,
Yeah.
because
I loved my whole career. I loved all the kids and the staff I worked with, fantastic people.
okay, so when did you first come a headmaster?
Then in 1968, beginning of 1968, when I
Yep.
was 23 years old.
Okay, so that
Yeah.
was at that school?
That was Galuga State School.
Okay,
I
yep.
was called I was the headmaster because I was the only teacher there, and I had to do all the administration, work with
Everything.
all the parent bodies. So you are administering the school
Yep.
as well as teaching the children,
Yeah.
and it's a full-time job.
Yeah, it
And
is.
so in those days, you were called the headmaster or the head teacher.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you married to Pam then?
Yes, we had uh, we had a little girl, Sherry.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay.
and we lived in a rundown shack
Okay.
on a farm
Okay.
about 2 kilometres from school. So Pam hardly ever went to the school,
Okay.
and I'd drive down there every day and then drive home to this little 2-room shack it was. There's no accommodation for the teacher really.
No.
Before me, they were all single teachers and they lived with families, but
Yeah.
we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll move to your children and that. And when did you move on to a larger kind of in the
Well,
city?
I'll just give you the run through.
Yep, sure. That'd be great.
After Galuga, we went to Mount Tarampa, which
Yep.
is a little school in the Lockyer Valley outside Lowood.
Yep.
It's right near where the old Lowood motor racing circuit used to be. You wouldn't know that, but older people, if
Yeah,
they're
no, I
listening to
know.
the pod, they-
Yep, yep.
It was right. Jack Brabham actually parked his car under the school residence. Yeah.
Okay.
But that was Mount Tarampa. 2 years there. Another little farming community. Great kids, nice people.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 2 years there, I was promoted to a 2-teacher school at Bloomsbury,
Yeah.
which is a little town on the highway south of Proserpine, the Bruce Highway up north. Wonderful people, wonderful kids. We really feel it. When driving into Bloomsbury, you think, oh my God, look where we are. There's nothing much there. but the people and the kids, they were fantastic, and they just accepted us into their community, and I had a great time there.
Okay.
3 years at Bloomsbury.
Yeah.
Then I got another promotion straight after that to Beerwah.
Okay.
Beautiful
Yep.
area.
Yep.
And that was about 5 teachers there, and I was still teaching as well as running the school there. Again, wonderful kids, wonderful family supporting the school. Really loved our time at Beerwah and staff.
Yeah.
I had more staff than interacting with staff, of course.
Yeah.
3 years there, and I saw in the paper where they're looking for exchange teachers to go overseas, and only classroom teachers should apply. I wrote to the department and said, why only classroom teachers? Surely principals can go over there, and when they come back, they've got more of an influence on maybe what can happen here. So they let me go. I was the first principal to actually go overseas to England as a classroom teacher. I'd been a principal for 10 years. At the beginning of 1978, we found ourselves in a little village outside Bedford where I had a house and a car and a job, and it was just wonderful. We just transferred straight to them. The lady from that school came out to my school, and that was just a wonderful experience. Yeah. We bought it all. Anyway, I'll come back to that.
Yeah, no, of course.
We came back from England to Toowoomba.
Yep.
At Newtown State School. And again, I had a great staff. The staff, the strong feature there. They were wonderful people, and all the great kids there and parents, and enjoyed all that. About 400 children in that school.
Okay, much larger.
They're much larger. And after 10 years there, Sherry and Dane, my 2 kids, had moved on from high school. So I said, well, okay, it's time to move. So I put in for a promotion. I got the #1 school in Queensland, really, Ascot State School.
Okay.
In Brisbane. Top school.
Yeah.
Very experienced staff, and again, nice city kids, well-behaved children. I love those kids there too.
Yeah.
So,
and how big was Ascot when you moved?
Ascot had about 1,000. Yeah.
Kids, and was that high school?
No, primary school.
Primary school.
1,000, including the preschool.
Okay.
And staff of about 50 altogether, I guess.
And that's a pretty large amount for primary school, isn't it?
Yes, it is really. Yeah. Oh, they're a lot bigger nowadays. I think.
Yeah.
But it was a lovely school. And I had 10 years there, and I thought, I could keep on going and keep on earning a lot of money.
Yep.
And live in the big house on the hill. But I thought, no, I could get hit by a truck tomorrow. And so I thought, no, I'll get out. And I'll just have some fun for the rest of my life. And that's what I've done.
And that's where we'll move on to basically, is that around 2010 or something?
That was 1998.
Okay.
I retired.
Okay.
I've been retired 27 years.
Okay, sorry, okay. And then did you start traveling around Australia then, or?
Well, the first thing we did, when I was in England, and I was teaching these little 7-year-olds, I fell in love with them, those little Pommy accents. And when I left, some of them were crying, we'll never see you again. Australia's a long way. One little girl, Emma, said, I want you to come back to my wedding. And I said, okay, Emma, I'll come back to your wedding.
Yeah.
And 21 years later, I did.
Oh.
She and I phone each other every year since she was 7 years old. And still do. She's now 55. She'll be 55 in a couple of weeks.
Oh, okay.
So we've always phoned each other. And, of course, I was invited to the wedding. We went back to her wedding in England. Yeah, that was great.
Okay.
So where are we up to?
No, yeah, you're telling me about what happened. But just one question before you said what happened when you retired there. Did you teach did your children go through any of your schools?
Oh, yeah. I was their only primary school principal.
Oh, okay.
Except for the year in England, they had somebody else there.
Okay. Yep.
But I was always, Dad was always the principal. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying what? So you retired?
Retired, yeah. And then, first of all, I got into acting.
Yes, this is what I have heard, yeah.
I got into acting. I've just always loved movies.
Yeah,
I've been fascinated by. Last night I watched the story of Crocodile Dundee, how that was made.
Yeah, okay.
Just a wonderful show. I really love it.
Yeah.
And I just love being on set. I was there with the actors and with all the cameramen and the whole thing. I was in 26 productions.
Okay.
Mainly as an extra, but I had a few speaking
That's all
parts.
right. That's all right.
I was a zombie.
Okay.
And a doctor and a policeman, all sorts of roles I played.
Okay.
And you'll see me in Peter Pan in the background.
Okay.
And Megan Washington is a singer who has a video clip out called Sunday Best.
Okay.
You'll see me in there smooching with a girl.
That's an interesting title.
But I loved it. I just loved being in that. But I gave it away because then we bought a camper van.
Okay.
To head around Australia.
Called Morrison?
Morrison.
I told you got to watch out for how much of research. So you better mark that down.
Yeah,
okay. So I said, trust me, I wasn't the best student, as I said. So Morrison, I know that.
My van Morrison.
Yep.
We also had a cat called Mandu, cat Mandu.
Okay.
And anyway, we bought that, and so because we were away, my agent would keep phoning me for a part, come in for a casting, and I said, sorry, I'm in Perth or somewhere in
Yep.
Northern Territory. And so I thought I'll give it up. I gave it away, which is a shame, really, but
Okay.
we just couldn't do it. But meanwhile, also, I've always wanted to be a Santa Claus, so I went to Santa school and I became a shopping centre Santa Claus
Okay.
for 7 years.
Which
At Brookside in
Brookside?
Brisbane.
Okay. Yeah.
I was shopping Santa Claus there and loved that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Actually, Gary's two boys, Nicholas and Dylan,
Dill,
whom
yep.
you know,
Yeah. Of course.
I hadn't yet met them. They were about 7 and 10.
Yeah.
And Gary said, come on, I'm going to take you to see Santa Claus. And
Yeah.
the eldest fellow, Nicholas, said, that's the Santa Claus.
Yeah. That sounds like Nick, trust me.
That's a whole lot of rubbish.
Yeah.
And but I knew all about them.
Yeah.
So when they come to see me, they came up onto the stage, and I said, "Oh, hello, Nicholas. Dad, he knows me. Hello, Dylan. Dad, he knows Dylan." And I said, "You must be 10 now, are you, Nick?" Yeah. And you're 7. Yeah. How did you know that, Dad? And I said, "Because I'm Santa Claus." And I said, "How's St Kilda going?" Dad, he likes St Kilda. And those two boys just couldn't get over it.
That's
and
so
on the way
great.
home, Nick's mind was blown. He thought, maybe it's true after all. He couldn't work it out. And about 5 years later, when they're in their teens,
Yeah.
I was showing them the photo of them sitting on Santa's knee, and I said, "Look at his blue eyes." And he said, "Oh, yeah." And I said, "Have a look at my eyes. I've got blue eyes like that, haven't I?" "Yeah." "Keep looking at them." And he kept, "It was you. It was you." Yeah.
I like how long you waited to tell him, because that made it even better.
I think so.
Yeah.
They couldn't get over that. But so it was a good little. I love those two boys.
They're great boys.
Yeah,
I love them. They're my boys as well, and I love them. And what you said about Nick, hell, I mean, how no one him or his wife basically.
Yes.
And it's funny what you say is Nick would be the first one who would think it's not true, and then you have to convince him. And he's a good debater. He can debate you as much as you want.
Oh yes,
very intelligent, both boys.
So that was Santa Claus, the other part of my career then, and we went all over Australia in the van.
Yeah.
That's probably the next step.
We'll get to that. And tell me, where did and we're going to talk about being an artist, and we'll talk about your own children and things like that, and you and Pam. Tell me, where do you think the thoughts of acting and the wanting to become an artist, where did that come from? Was it in the family? Where did it come from?
Well, even though I lived at Miles on a cattle property, there's a picture theatre. They called it a picture theatre.
Of course they did.
Miles in the old days, back through the 50s.
Yep.
And even though Mum and Dad were struggling, they always took us into the pictures to see the pictures. Just about every weekend we went to the pictures.
Yep.
And of course, Dad didn't always go. That was Dad's chance to hop across to the pub and have a few beers with his mates.
Yes,
but Mum would go to the picture, and us kids would go and sit with other kids. And so I always loved the movies, and I always was fascinated by how the movies were made. So definitely that was one thing I always wanted to do. I couldn't believe it when I went to acting school for 18 months at QUT when I retired. Got myself an agent, and then they found roles for me.
Okay.
And I'd love to still be doing it, but I just can't fit it in. I've got too much happening.
You got a busy life. I don't know, off story. I don't know if it's true, because you hear stories here and there, but talking about Clint Eastwood, I heard, of course, Clint Eastwood, one of the actors in the world ever, and gone for every, I suppose, genre from black and white to color, and played everything cowboy.
Yeah.
And I heard that and he's a good piano player.
Is he?
Yes. And I heard that, I think this is a true story, because so many stories come out, but I did hear this years ago, that he was going to work at a jazz bar, and he wanted to be an actor. And on the way to the bar, because he got the job, he saw a paper looking for extras, and he decided that I'm going to go and see if I can get in this. And he knew he had to turn up, and he went. He luckily got an extra, but on the way back, that hotel, whatever it was, jazz bar, had burnt down that night.
Right.
And of course, he could have went to that and missed out. But I believe after that, coming an extra is in one of the cowboy movies. Right. And after that, that's his career.
Wow.
A little side off story. But
Gran Torino is one of my favourite movies of all time. You might not have heard of it.
Yeah, of course it is, the one with his car.
Yeah.
And going back to Pale Rider and
all his westerns, his spaghetti westerns, all those. Yeah, great. He's still going, dear old Clint, but he's probably going to be the next one we hear about.
Yeah, and what a person that there's so many, especially in, I suppose, anywhere in the movie scenes, music scenes, that there's always scandals. But with him, he's been through all that, generations, and these days with sexual her
Yeah.
house, and that. You haven't heard any really bad stories about
No,
Clint Eastwood, have we?
no, not at all.
You
You're
know,
quite right. Yeah.
and he's
And
been
Robert Redford, people like that too. You know, they're great.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
and it's been true gentlemen, and who have directed and starred in so many different movies and played so many characters and play it well.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you travelled around, and as I said, Morrison, and
Mm.
is it true that you only travelled around Australia, didn't visit Tasmania?
Oh no, went to
You did?
Tasmania.
Okay,
We've
sorry.
been there 3 times to
Okay, yep,
Tasmania.
yep, cool.
Love if people ask me what was a favourite place, well, Tasmania stands out by itself.
Okay, cool.
I mean, we went there for 10 weeks in the van,
Yep.
and in 10 weeks you can drive all over every dirt road everywhere in Tasmania. So I've seen it all and loved it.
Okay.
We also went for a week one other time, and then for a week another time. Just loved Tassie.
Okay, tell me, when did you start painting? And tell me, we know you travelled around Australia taking
Right.
photos, obviously.
Right.
When did you start painting? Who taught you?
Okay,
Self-taught?
as a child, I was just always drawing at home. I drew all over the walls of our house, actually, and Mum didn't like that too much.
I
But
don't
used
think
to
anyone
I
would.
used to draw cartoon characters a
Yeah,
lot,
okay.
and twice in my primary school and secondary school, I was sent to the principal's office for writing on my pads, and I drew. There used to be a cartoon character called Andy Cap, who was a
Okay.
anyway, on the back of my chemistry paper at Toowoomba High School, I know I did 3 drawings. One, me before the exam, big smile. Middle one, me during the exam, looking a little bit worried. The third one, me after the exam, and I'm bawling my head off because I didn't like the exam too much.
Okay.
Anyway, the teacher said, you're not taking this seriously enough. Off to the principal, so he sent me to the principal's office for that.
Okay.
And in primary school, in high school again, the teacher sent me to the principal's office for drawing all over my hand and all. So I was always drawing, always scribbling. And other kids knew me as a kid who could draw all the time. They used to ask me to draw things.
Okay.
But then, but I didn't do. I got too busy with school and work. And then the night before my 40th birthday, we had a car crash on the highway. We stopped for an accident, and the person behind me couldn't stop in time. They rammed into the back of us and pushed our car off the road. The car was a write-off. And I thought, I could have got killed in that car accident, and tomorrow I was to be 40. And they say life begins at 40.
Okay.
And I could have got killed and never done the one thing I always wanted to do, which was to paint.
Okay.
So the next day, on my 40th birthday, or the day after, I went out and bought paints and brushes and boards and started painting.
Okay.
Just nobody ever taught me how to paint.
Okay.
I was always drawing, so I did the drawings and I coloured them in basically.
Okay.
So that's when I started painting, and that was 40 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was the idea when you're going to travel around Australia? You're going to take photos, then go home and paint them,
Yes.
or that?
But I'd done quite a few before then.
Okay.
But always landscapes. I've done a couple of portraits at Ascot State School. I did a couple of paintings of children, Ascot children, and put it in their annual art show. I put 4 paintings in there, and they sold before the art show even opened.
Okay.
So I thought, well, there's something here.
Yeah.
And then a couple of other parents saw that, and they said, would you do one of my children too? And suddenly I had 55 commissions to paint Ascot school children with their friends in the school ground.
Okay.
And that was going well until I retired, and of course then it all fell apart.
Okay.
But that was great. So I have painted people, but mainly I just love landscape. And so then when we took off in our van, I took hundreds of photos of the countryside, basically with a painting in mind. So I positioned the photo so that the trees are in the right place, the mountain in the background is in the right place, etc. The composition was right. And so I've got all these photos, still got hundreds of photos. And that's what I paint from. I'd rather than sitting, I mean, a lot of people love painting on plein air, which means you sit out in the sun, the hot sun, and the flies bothering you, and the grass seeds in your pants, and the ants. I thought, no, thank you.
No.
I'll just sit in the privacy and comfort of my lounge. Lounge room. I've got no studio. My studio is a 1 square meter. Sitting behind the lounge chair, beside my pants, watching TV.
Yeah.
I'm painting. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, talking about that, we actually had someone knew you were coming on, not someone who knows you, but we have questions, and I think Heinz has got it there. He'll hand it to us. Someone actually sent a question in because they had saw your paintings before and they like it. And Heinz, do you want to do that? Give him that question. I'll let you read that out. It's actually led into that perfectly.
Listen, I can read the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay, listener Tony asks, when you are painting, do you listen to music? And if yes, what music do you listen to? sometimes, but most of the fact is that, as I said, I'm sitting right behind Pam. She's
Yep.
in the main lounge chair looking at TV. I'm looking at TV over her shoulder,
Yeah, yep.
and so I'm not going to have music playing.
Okay, no. So
But sometimes if once she's gone to bed, if
yeah.
I'm still painting, I'll put YouTube on,
Yep.
and I usually put on the Highwaymen, Chris Christopherson, Willie Nelson,
Yep.
Johnny Cash, country music.
Okay.
Even though I love Dire Straits,
Yeah.
I love ABBA,
Yeah.
I love the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
So it's all that old 60 stuff.
Okay. So
But it's the one thing I haven't done that I would like to have done. I would have liked to be the front man of a band.
oh, really?
Yeah, I love music.
Okay.
I love rock and roll, good rock and roll.
Okay. Okay.
And I've seen a lot of the big acts from those days.
Okay.
I've been to their shows, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So do you listen to music? Yeah, and that sort of answers the question, I guess.
yeah, that's perfect. No, that's perfect. No, that's perfect. No, that's excellent.
But yeah, my favourite music is probably country music.
Okay.
And rock and roll. I'm into hip hop to a point because Pam loves hip hop, even though she's nearly 80.
Yeah.
She loves all hip hop, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Flo Rida and Sean Paul and all these sort of people.
Oh, trust me, Karen's a music lover as well.
Right.
She loves it. We like when our boys are down here, Nick and Dill, and when they're up there with Gary and that. But they love music as well.
Good,
But
yeah.
Karen loves it as well. She's a YouTube girl. She could sit in front of YouTube listening to that
me too.
music all day.
Love it.
So
The thing is, everything's there, isn't it? I
oh
mean, we didn't have that when I was younger.
Oh, no.
Any song you want to hear, there it is.
yeah, you just type it in and it's there. And how amazing, there's originals where you can go back and watch, Live Aid and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's there
Definitely.
forever.
I'm taping that one this week. We tape all our TV shows. I
Okay.
hardly watch anything direct from TV because our TV is sort of going all day.
Yeah.
Put it on at 7 o'clock in the morning, turn off about 11 o'clock at night. The TV's just going all the time.
Yeah.
But it's one of us watching a tape that we've taped, some show we've taped. So you can run it straight through the ads.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's
And we've got hundreds of hours of shows taped.
shows
And
tape.
I'm taping that Live Aid this week, that's for sure.
Oh, is it on this week? Is it?
It is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. I
is,
thought it was
definitely.
sometime soon. With when you were taking the photos,
Mm.
well, of course you took it with a camera. Was it just you drove past it and something just said that was it? What drew you to that?
Oh, just the
period?
colours.
Yep.
I mean, but I do a lot of paintings of outback
Mhm.
Australia.
Of course you do.
And basically the colours, I said, oh, look at that. And
Mm-hmm.
if I like the scene, I say, oh, wouldn't that be a nice painting? I don't sort of sit, isn't that a nice scene? My
Mhm.
first thought is, wouldn't that be a nice painting?
Mhm.
So, and sometimes I will stop and climb a hill nearby so I can get up high and look down on it a little bit.
Yeah.
And sometimes also, I usually have a mountain in the background, a range or a mountain in the background.
Mhm.
And if there's not one there, sometimes I'll put one there.
Okay.
So the paintings aren't necessarily exactly what is in the view,
Mm.
So I'll put a road in, or I'll often put sheep in there because I find sheep in the countryside are very peaceful. It's very peaceful.
Mm.
So I'll put sheep in there. Yeah, I go for the colours and just the composition of that picture, and then when I get home, then I'll turn them into paintings. And I call them all my country.
Yes.
Because how do you give names to all of those? Sheep
Okay.
in the valley, sheep on the hill,
Yeah.
nice trees, bad trees, old trees, big mountain, little mountain, nice, lovely day, calm day,
Yeah.
peaceful day.
No, my
How do you name
country.
all those paintings?
No, my country. And do you give them a number too? I heard. Is it?
I number them all as I do. So they call my country number 34, my country number 267. At the present time, I'm working on my country number 672.
Did you win an award? I know you won a few, but did you win
Yes.
an award for something My Country 19 or something like that? Or is that one of the ones you won? Or
Well, I have one award. I don't know the numbers of them.
no, because you
Yes.
won the Ascot show, was it?
I won the Ascot
And the mile?
first prize. Oh, and I won a few at miles.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, there's my research
And-
again.
and
So take that.
Toowoomba had the grand champion of the Toowoomba show.
Yep.
I won commended in second prize at the at the ECA
Yep.
Brisbane exhibition, and I won shows with the Royal Queensland Arts Society. I won landscape prizes there.
And was there a bubble wrap one or something? Was there? Or
bubble wrap, what does that mean? Could mean the People's Choice, maybe.
yeah, it might have been for
I
that
have won-
19 one
I
or
won
something. I'm
People's
talking about.
Choice.
Yeah.
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 I'm a fellow of the Royal Queensland Arts Society.
Yep.
Because I've been a member there for a long time, and I was on the committee for 5 years and organised quite a lot of things there while I was there.
Mm.
And I'm also a member of the Queensland Art Collective. I'm the treasurer of that group.
Okay.
So and we're all the time showing in shopping centres and art exhibitions around the town.
Okay.
But I don't send my paintings away. I mean, even though I'm on the internet
Yeah.
on bluethumb.com,
Yes.
and so I've sold paintings to Spain, and Poland and England, Luxembourg, Japan, New Zealand, United States, and Canada.
Okay, just say that site again for people.
Bluethumb.com.
Okay, that's
Could
good.
be .au, I'm not quite sure.
Yep, it probably is, but that's great. No,
If you just Google mine, just Max Butler, artist, you'll see my paintings.
Okay, we'll make sure we put that in as well.
Yeah, great, thanks.
So tell me, have you painted anywhere else? Did you ever take any sites from England when you were in England or anything and paint from over?
Was I painting in England? No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't painting then.
Okay.
No, I was only 33 when I was in England. Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what, like we were talking about, about your brother sitting at the window. What does painting give you that kind of same feeling, that thought of getting away? Is that your relaxed time?
Yeah, it is calming. I mean, I suppose there are some artists who paint in an agitated state.
Yep.
I mean, look at poor old Vincent.
Yeah.
He was always in an agitated state, and he's Van Gogh.
Yeah.
There are people like that who paint with some sort of trauma in their brain, but for most people, I think, anyway, for me particularly, it's just calming. It's just lovely and peaceful. You sort of start off with a blank. I always paint on orange. First of all, I paint orange. Put an orange cover wash all over on my board. I've always painted on an orange board, and those little bits of orange come through the painting and sort of unify it and maybe give it a bit of a glow.
That dusty look from Australia.
Yeah. So painting is calm and relaxing and enjoyable. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm never stressed by doing it, really.
Okay. Tell me about Pam. Like you said, you met her when you were 17.
She was 17, yeah.
And tell me a little about her parents when you met them, and about her life with you.
Yeah, her dad was the chief of parcels in the post office.
Okay.
GPO in the city.
Yep.
Her mum worked from home. She had a younger sister, Jan, who we still see all the time. She's really lovely, and they're very close, very good friends. And she grew up at Albion initially, went to Windsor State School.
Okay.
And then she went on, they moved to Brighton, went to Brighton State School, then Sandgate District High School. And then she went to work in the City Hall in Brisbane, in the City Hall in the rates department.
Okay.
She used to send the rate notices out to people and this sort of stuff. As a secretary, really typist in a big office there in the City Hall, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
So she was 17 when I met her, and then at the end of that year is when I left college. So we were apart then for the next 2 years. I was out at Wando and she was in Brisbane, so we only saw each other once every 4 weeks or something. Lots of letters.
Yeah.
No phone calls. I didn't have a phone.
No.
I had no phone where I lived. Even in my schools, I didn't have a phone. Funny, isn't it?
Yeah, and letters would have been a bit apart. How long it would have taken to get out there, did it?
Yeah, that's right. It took a few days for the letters. The letters were crossing. We were writing to each other all the time.
Yeah.
But madly in love, which is the most.
Did you keep any of the letters? Do you know?
I've got every one of them.
Really?
Every one of her letters and every one of my letters.
Oh, that's excellent.
She didn't want to see them. Funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
She didn't want to see them. I thought she would, but she said, no, that's all.
It's normally the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm the real old romantic.
Okay, you go. Yeah.
And so I've got them all in order. That she wrote to me and all in one big folder. Yeah, the whole lot.
Really?
And see, I've kept a diary every day since I was 15.
Really?
I was 15 years old, 1st of January 1959. I got myself a little diary, and I've written every day since then. So that's 60 odd years.
What drew you to that?
Because I had a cat that died. I remember I had a cat that died, and I had the Lukey quads were born in 1956 or something. That was big news for me. These 4 kids being born from the one mother. I said, I want to remember when that was. So I wrote it down. Things that interested me, I wrote down in a little notebook.
Okay.
And I thought, they're going to get lost. Why don't I just write down every day? And so I was 15. I mean, it's pretty young to think of that, really.
Yeah.
And so I've got 60 odd years, 66 years.
Oh, that's incredible.
And they just go from one side of the room to the other if you put them all in.
I wish I knew that before you came. I would have asked you just to pick out one and just bring them around.
Yeah. Well, I've still got them all.
Okay.
But again, when I die, they'll just go in a bin, I should think.
Yeah.
Family doesn't really care about
No,
them,
it's different these days with children, grandchildren. We'll get into children, but it's not the same. Like I came, a lot older than me, but I came from the eras where shoes would get handed down to people.
Yes, of course.
Or if your parents passed away, you probably take their furniture. Kids these days would probably put their nose up, or
Yeah,
even,
that's true.
like, I don't want that. I can go and get that from Harrison Scarf,
Yeah,
or
that's
something like that. Not just naming a business, but
yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's quite sad that
yeah.
kind of
But when you think of it, I
history.
suppose it's really only for yourself. I mean,
Is it exactly?
if our friends call and say, we haven't seen you since about January last year, and I'll just, there it is.
Yeah,
February the 2nd, you were here.
yeah.
It's all in the diary,
That's good. That's good. And
Yeah,
yeah,
when I met Pam's in there, when the
yeah,
kids were born, it's in
yeah,
there. When I got married,
yeah.
you're going to get a mention today, of course.
Okay, and you and Pam will if you get an argument, you go, "No, we had that argument on the 22nd of August.
Exactly.
I told you we were going to do that."
Yes, and
So,
of course she reads about the girls who came into my life before she came along.
oh, really?
It's all there.
Okay, no, that's
But it
okay.
hadn't caused too much stress.
How was Pam's mum and dad? How did you get along with them when you first
Wonderful,
met them?
wonderful straight away.
Yep.
Her dad didn't like the idea of her seeing boys. She's 17, but
Yeah.
and so he was always quite cool to any boys who did call on her, which did happen.
Yep.
But he came in, he says, "Oh, you came from Miles." I said, "Yeah." He said, "I used to live at Miles. My dad was the postmaster of Miles. I went to Miles School.
Yeah.
And his teacher at Miles happened to be my teacher at Drillham 30 years later or 20 years later.
Yeah.
And so suddenly I was his snowy-haired boy, and so I was in the family. And Mum was just an angel. Pam's mother was just a lovely person. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have to, although these days it still happens, did you approach the father to ask for her hand in marriage?
Yes, I took my toothbrush with me, I remember. I wanted something to hold on to. I just finished cleaning my teeth, and I went out and I said, I was fiddling with the toothbrush. I said, "Pam and I are thinking of getting married." He said, "No way." "Oh, yeah, of course you can."
Oh, okay, that's good.
It was good.
Okay.
He had a great sense of humour, good bloke.
And where did you get married?
We got married in St Paul's Church in St Paul's Terrace at Spring Hill.
Yes, yeah.
St Paul's
Okay.
Presbyterian Church, I think it's called.
Okay.
31st of January 1966.
Okay.
So it'll be what's that? Nearly 60 years. Yeah, 59 years in a couple of weeks. Yeah.
And
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. Did you go away on a honeymoon in the
We went to Happy Bay up in the Whitsunday. So it's
Happy
called
Bay.
Happy Bay. I don't know if it still exists.
No,
but
I have never heard of
no, you never hear about it. But
No.
it was Happy Bay was the name of the place, and
Okay.
on Long Island.
it.
And
Okay.
there's Whitsunday Island, Hayman, and all those there. We had a week up there.
Okay.
It was a honeymoon.
No, that's so
And
great.
then I took her out to Wando. Oh my God.
What happened there?
Poor girl. Well, there's no accommodation in Wandone except an old rundown flat, which is just a dump.
Yeah.
And we tried to make a home out of it. She had no stove,
Okay.
no. She had a fridge. I think she had a fridge, nothing to cook on.
Yeah.
Because she had an electric fry pan and a little spirit thing she used to cook on.
Yeah.
No laundry, and it was a dump. It was overrun with mice.
Yeah.
We'd be sitting at the dinner table, and the mice would be running around the floor at our feet.
Oh.
We'd go to bed and we'd set 10 mouse traps and hop into bed, and you hear them, we'd count them as they go up, click, 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 10, hop out of bed, empty them out, put another 10 down.
Oh God.
But then we'd just go to sleep and let them run around.
Well, no.
We caught 200 mice. We used to keep a tally on the bedroom wall.
Oh, really?
We caught 200 mice.
You do like the keeping
I-
notes, ain't it's diaries or notes of
I've
how
got
many
records of everything.
kills or so. Okay. And if I'm saying kills, it's on YouTube. It's about a pest.
Yes,
So-
that's true. Yes.
So the end this
But
morning.
that was in Wando, and she didn't have a job.
Yep.
And she had no TV, no radio even.
Yeah.
And she just sat in the place and waited for me to come home from school.
Yeah.
And the first thing I do, I go straight into preparing for the next day and then studying at night time for my university degree. So poor thing, but she put up with it all,
Yep.
Yeah.
And when we go back to that, like we spoke earlier on about when, husbands or sons and that would go to war, the mums or call them females would step up, and it's amazing. It's the strength of her to be able to do it. We got to look at the strength of a female a lot
Definitely.
stronger, because they come the support thing for you when you come home. They have to handle the home front. They handle the children, and their toughness is a lot more tougher than we reckon at times.
Yes. Particularly in those, the women don't, you're right, the women throughout history have never got enough recognition for
No.
what they did.
No,
The
mental.
men became the heroes and the saviors of the world and the saviors of society, and
Yeah.
the women just plodded along and looked after them and
Yeah.
kept the family together and kept the world running, really. So it's good that in today's age we do give women more recognition for what they're doing.
Yes, exactly. The mental strength there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go a bit of a raw place now with you. You got two children.
Right.
Can we, if you don't mind, can we talk about them? And
Yes.
yes, and first, I suppose we'll start with Sherry, who I knew,
Yeah.
who's
Oh, you knew Sherry. That's
yes,
of
yeah, I
course.
knew Sherry
Yeah.
because so that people know that Gary, your son-in-law, is Nikki and Dylan's father, but
Right.
their stepfather,
Mm.
and so we've got a
A link.
we've got a relationship in some ways. We
Yes.
do, involvement. We could call that for sure,
Mm.
as you love the boys and I do. Can you tell us a bit about Sherry, who was
Yeah.
who is Gary's wife still, but passed away?
Okay. Yeah. When we were in England, we had in England, by the way, I bought an old camper van. Bought it for £500. Drove 30,000
Did
miles.
you name it?
Oh, just the van. It was
Okay.
just called the van.
Okay.
I drove 30,000 miles and then sold it for £500. We drove all over Europe, all over England, Scotland, Wales, and all. Every weekend we'd be off somewhere, and the kids are in the van. They slept up in the ceiling somehow on little hammocks.
Okay.
And Sherry went to the local school, and she's only there a month, and they had to select the May Queen. All those little villages have May Queens, and so Sherry was selected as the May Queen at the annual May Festival.
Yeah.
Which means she had to dress in a long robe and a white dress and wore a tiara on her head, and she came out and sat on her throne, and all the kids did the maypole for her, and big thrill. I mean, she just only been there a month, and the kids just loved her.
Yeah.
She had a beautiful long blonde hair.
Yeah.
So she was a May Queen there. Pam and I were invited to a garden party to meet Princess Margaret, which we did.
Oh, okay.
And then we were invited to church with the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh at Westminster Abbey. And they stood right beside us as they came. They put us on the aisle because the kids wanted to see them.
Okay.
And they stood right beside us, and the Duke looked down and smiled at the two little blonde heads there, and that was nice. And when we walked out, it was strange because we walked out behind them in the cordoned off part, all the crowds out there waving and stuff, and so we thought, what do we do? Do we wave?
Yeah.
So that was all part of it because it was Commonwealth Day or Commonwealth Week, and we were representing the Commonwealth by living in England by that time, so they invited us to both those functions.
Okay.
So Sherry was always popular at school. She got to high school and she just really mucked around.
Okay.
She just wanted to have a lot of fun with her mates. She didn't study. She was intelligent because that showed later on with her work.
Yeah.
But she just mucked around. And at the end of grade 10, she said, "Dad, I'm out of here." I said, "Okay, mate." I didn't say, "No, you've got to keep going." I just said, "Okay." So she just worked in Kmart and worked in record shops and became a record manager of music store, Brashers in the old days, and Fish Records and Sanity, I think. And then she got into, she did a course in interior design and interior decoration, and she got letters in that. And then she became Nick Scarley's manager of setting up all their stores around Queensland. She would go to Townsville and places like this and set up the store, how it should look. She knew all about design and that sort of stuff. So she had a great job going for her. And then cancer hits, and she got breast cancer. And even when she had breast cancer, she just handled it so well. She lost all her hair, and she was in Sydney at the time. But then she came home to recover, and she went on for about 8 years, I think, and got through that. Then she met Gary, who was just wonderful to her. And I mean, Gary's my best mate.
Yeah,
and, he's just fitted into our family, and we love him, and the feeling's mutual. I know. And then 4 years after they were married, she dies of cancer. And it shattered all of it. She was Daddy's little girl, she's just my little pet. And we had a lot of fun with her. So that's now 8.5 years ago we lost her.
Thanks for taking me there. I'm sorry about going through that.
Yeah.
One thing you said there is, I suppose you have looked at it before, her going into the interior decorating, it's a little bit like you too, and having that artist brain. Have you thought of that before?
I've still got some documents she gave me about colours, which colours should go together and this sort of stuff in furniture, fabrics, etc. And I still use that from time to time when I'm doing a painting, which colours to put beside others. So we shared that, really, and she was just a lot of fun. Everybody loved Sherry. She was just a beautiful girl.
And what do you think she taught you as a child and an adult?
I don't know. I never really thought about that. What did she teach me? It was just wonderful having your own kids. Yeah. Honestly, I was always close to my school kids. Yeah. But of course, you can't get too close. You can't even put your arm around them nowadays.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was always close to my school kids. And he was my own little daughter that I could give a big cuddle to, and a hug. And they used to read her stories every night when she went to bed when she's little. And we were just always so close. Yeah. And then we had the little boy.
Yes.
2 years later, and that's Dane. And he was always sort of in Sherry's shadow. Sherry made all the noise and Dane just sort of plodded along.
Okay.
He's a good little fellow. He's never any trouble. A good little boy. And but Sherry sort of ruled the roost, I guess. So they both can't be as vocal as she was. She's always in trouble in school for talking.
Okay.
And Dane was fairly quiet. He loved his cricket. Even as a little kid, he used to go and play cricket and used to go and watch him on the weekends. And so he went through high school then. He went through to grade 12 only because we said, no, mate, you need to go further. He wanted to leave at grade 10 also, but no, you keep on going. He didn't really put a lot into his studies, but he's turned out to just show us he's brilliant, really, in his mind. He's just so intelligent. Yeah. And he went into all sorts of, he went to join the Navy when he was 16, the day before week before his 17th birthday, joined the Navy, spent 11 years in the Navy.
What else?
Well, he studied electronics.
Okay.
First, I don't know his position, first something, but he didn't climb up nothing into the managerial level. Yeah. But he became very good at technology, and he used to fix submarines. At one stage, he said there was a submarine broken down out in the sea, and they had to fly Dane in a helicopter out to that submarine, which came to the surface, let him down on the submarine and went inside and fixed up what the problem was, and they flew him back again.
What an amazing story.
Only in his 20s,
What an amazing story.
Oh, yeah. And he could do anything to do with sonar, radar, electronics, And so then he moved out of that into mining. He got into various jobs in mining in Brisbane in the office at one stage. Went to Perth, where he worked in the submarine base over there. He sailed the world and ships. Of course, he'd been everywhere on different ships. And then he finally, in his later years, he worked in a gold mine. He worked in a gold mine in New Guinea too, up in the mountains for a while. Worked in a gold mine out in Northern Territory, at the Tanami gold mine, which is one of the biggest in the world, I believe. And he says there's so much gold there, they're never going to run out of it. Okay. And so he became the supervisor of mine technology, which is a pretty important position. He had people under him,
Sure is.
And then of course he gets a melanoma cut out. Okay. Went to one doctor. He said, "Oh, I don't like this little dot here," and the doctor said, "Oh, don't worry about that." So some months later, he went and saw a different doctor, and the doctor said, "Oh, no, that's nothing to worry about." Finally, about a few months later, he goes to the third doctor, and the doctor said, "Oh, that's got to come out." And they took it out straight away, and it was a melanoma. Stage 3, I think, or stage 4. And so he was doomed, really. And if only the other two doctors would have picked it up, he might have been right. And that's a couple of years ago, and now he's just been told 2 weeks ago that it's terminal. So we're going to lose him too. I'm
sorry. And yeah, again, I appreciate, in a ways, if you understand me, you taking us there. Yeah. And, I don't want to make an upsetting thing, but there's obviously others going through it. And
of course,
tell me, and I know you know that, but tell me, with Sherry passing away, with parents at that stage, because you'll sadly will go through it again if you don't mind me going here. Tell me that a parent who may be going through it for the first time, is some things that could help them, because you've been through it, some things to, maybe give them some ideas to help them. I know nothing can help that feeling, but any directions you can say.
I think you've got to be there for them. I've said to Dane, keep us informed all the way along the line. Don't think, oh, I won't tell mum and dad, they don't want to hear it. Tell us everything. Talk it all over, talk everything over. And I don't call myself a religious person because I don't talk religion a lot, but I am a Christian. I believe in God. And we've talked to them about that. And I do firmly believe that this life here on earth is just a practice run. I think we're here for only 70 or 80 years, if that.
I believe that.
And it's a practice run, because the next one is the big one. Because there's a huge universe out there that we just don't understand, right? Yeah. And that's where we're going to go to. And I also believe that that's where we're going to meet our loved ones who have gone before us. And so that gives me peace, knowing that I'm going to see you again one day, Dane. I'm going to see Sherry and my mum and dad. And, I
believe that. And again, just being a bit raw with it, and it helped knowing that with Sherry that she had Gary, who
Yeah.
is and
Oh, he was
was a
wonderful.
great husband and a
Yeah.
best friend for her and a great son-in-law. To know that when you weren't there, that she had someone with that strength and that love and that care, that must grip both yous and just meant so much to know that someone was there who loved her
Yeah.
just as much as you did and cared for her as much
Oh,
as
he was
you could.
marvelous. He was marvelous to her.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know, uh, it's interesting when you die. People who don't believe in God, fair enough. I respect the fact that they don't believe in that.
Yeah.
But Gary went and saw a medium. I don't know if you heard this story.
I'm not sure, but you tell us. I want to hear
About a
it.
couple of months after Sherry died, Gary went and saw a medium. He said, "I just want to see if I can get in touch with her."
Mm,
And fair dinkum, he walks in. All this fella knew was my name's Gary.
mm,
That's it.
mm,
Nothing. He'd never seen her before. So he says, "Who do you want to put me in touch with?" And Gary says, "Her name's Sherry Sinclair."
mm.
When did she die? She died on this date. And straight away he says, "Oh, she's here right now." Well, you can laugh at that if you want to, okay? That's a
No.
throwaway line, but he says, "She's here right now. She's telling me about Oaks." And Gary says, "Oh," he said, what's Oaks?" Gary says, "That's the company I work for. I manage a big Oaks building in Queen Street." "Oh," and she's telling me about Jane. He says, "There's a Jane." And Gary said, "Oh, that's the palliative care nurse who used to look after her every day." Now she's telling me about Susan. "Is there a Susan?" He said, "Yes, that's her best friend, Susan. She was with her when she died." I mean, where do those names come from?
No.
If she's not there telling him, where's he getting that from?
Mm,
And then before she died, she says to Pam, her mother, "After I die, I'm going to come back as a bird and I'm going to poop on your shoulder." And of course, we laughed. That's typical Sherry, the way she talked.
yeah.
And about 2 weeks after she died, Pam's out at the clothesline, hanging the clothes out, washing out, and this little bird flying around, squawk and make a heck of a lot of noise. And Pam just says, "Do you know Sherry?" And the bird just flitted around and flew away. This man says to Gary, "Now she's telling me that just recently she came to her mother in the form of a bird."
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
I still go cold.
I just
Mate,
got chill. I just got, when you get them feelings through your hair, the chills.
yeah,
And
yes,
just about me for 1 second, my that father passed away 5 or so years ago with
right,
cancer,
right.
and he used to always love the pigeons. You know the pigeons flying over in the morning. Sometimes they
Oh,
fly over
right,
in that
yes,
bunch,
yes.
and I think it's pigeons or something like that.
No, probably cockatoos,
Cockatoos,
or
but
glass, yeah.
yeah, something like that in the mornings. And he used to always, and he said, "Oh, I wish I was out there with them." And it's funny. There's a feeling I hear them now and then. It's not every day, just now
Right.
and then. But when they fly over, it's just feeling what goes over me now and then.
Yeah,
And it's like I feel like Dad's close, and he's with that crowd of the birds.
yeah.
So I don't think what you said is weird,
It's just
silly.
amazing. This you can't just knock that. I think that, I mean, okay, if there's somebody listening who says, "Oh, that's a lot of rubbish," okay, you explain it.
Yeah.
What happened there? How did he know that? Nobody else was there. How did he know that that happened?
Yep.
And I'll just give you a couple more
No, I
incidents.
want you to go on.
Gary, after she died, Gary said, "I want to get as far away as possible." So he and I left Pam at home. He and I took off and headed west. We went as far as Nakundra, which is way out past Thargomindah, Yellow, out past Quilpie, way out as far as you can go out west.
Yeah.
And coming back, we came back through Miles, my hometown. And I said, "I'll take you out to the cemetery and show you my ancestors' graves." And I've got grandparents of both sides and uncles, and they're all buried there. And I said to Gary, "This is where I want to be buried, Gary, here in Miles with my family." Gary says, "Okay, I'll be buried beside you." "Sure, yeah." So we went down to the council. We bought our 2 plots, cost us $600 each, and we are going to be buried beside each other. Sherry's ashes will go in with Gary, and Pam ashes with me or be above me or whatever. And left it at that.
No.
This man, no, this is another one. Then he went to see a different medium. This medium says, "She's telling me about a little town out west. I can't quite get it." Gary says, "Oh yeah," and she says, "There's something ma." And Gary said, "Miles, Miles, is it?" "No, I haven't heard of Miles, but anyway," she says, "this little town out west, and she's fossicking." And Gary said, "No, that doesn't sound right. She didn't go fossicking." "Well, I'll tell you what she's doing. She's digging 2 holes in the ground there at Miles."
God.
That's her
Okay.
graves.
Oh.
Marvelous, eh?
That's incredible. And like you said, sorry about you. Like you said, people can believe in it and not believe in it.
Yeah.
But I think that's where we go when we're talking about politics and things like that these days. Is that's where so many arguments happen. If someone says that, go, I hear you,
Mm,
and you have that belief. And if that person doesn't, they can just say, hey, I don't believe in that. But there's no debate. And I think, what you said, I totally believe in. And
right. Do you? That's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel the feeling. I
Well,
bet
I think you have to.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel it. And my wife's, Karen, she's very spiritual
Is
too,
she?
and
Okay.
very spiritual, and she
Ah.
she she feels things like that, and I do too. So
I'll just tell you
yeah, no, I want you to.
it went on and on.
Yeah, no, please
Just
tell me.
so one way he said, she's telling me that she loved ABBA.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Gary said, oh, yes, she loved ABBA. She was mad about
yeah,
ABBA.
yeah.
He said she said to me her favorite song was Dancing Queen. Gary said, that's right.
Yes.
Dancing Queen.
No.
Well, what she wants you to do, she wants you to play ABBA in the car. She wants you to play Dancing Queen if you can. He
No.
says, yeah, okay. After it's over, Gary goes out to the car, turns the radio on, Dancing Queen.
No, no, no,
Straight away.
no. That's
You know?
that's unusual.
Could I just say, Alan, a
Yep.
lot of people, they don't believe even there's a God, and that's fair enough, okay.
Yeah.
But to me, I understand that, mate, but you just haven't found out yet, that's all.
No.
But really, I mean, they say, how can that be possible? Well, just think of the ants. The ants are wonderful little smart creatures. They've got their own society. They've got their towns. They've got their tunnels. They've got their workers. They've got their slaves. They've got their soldiers.
Yep. It's like
They've got a
bees.
whole society, but as clever as they are, and they are clever, right?
Yep.
They don't even know that we exist.
No.
Yet we're right here beside them. We're in
Yep.
the same space as they are.
Totally.
So why can't we, as clever as we are, we just haven't got the intelligence to get that far to accept that there's some other big thing right here around us. We just can't see it. It's the spirit world. No, it's not way out there in heaven. It's right here where you are. It's surrounding you. They're all around us.
No,
That makes sense to me.
no, it does. And two things with me, like you said, grief and things like that. And hopefully he doesn't mind me telling this story.
Yeah.
But I was talking to Gary once, and of course, a while back, and I said to him, "There's no," and I don't want to take his confidence away from what I told him, but and I don't think he'll mind me saying this because I would say this to anyone: you grieve as long as you want to.
Yes, of course.
Don't allow anyone to tell you you can't grieve for the rest of the time. I mean, if you can't get yourself out of bed or move or something, then, there's a health issue. But if you have to grieve every day and just have that sadness in you and every day, you do it
Yes.
because no one is walking in your shoes.
Exactly.
You grieve as long as you want to, and don't allow anyone to tell you how you should handle it.
Yeah, true. You've got to do it your own way.
And no one should take that from you. And
Yeah.
I'm very strong about that. And the other thing I was going to say a little bit back the story about being here a short amount of time. I always say dogs, as you met Apollo today, my seeing eye dog.
Right.
How good are dogs? That they're smart. They're here for a short amount of time. When they're happy, they're happy. When they sleep, they sleep. When they want to run free, they'll run and they're crazy. When they don't like someone, they won't go near them. When they like them, they'll go near them.
Yeah.
They've found that
Yes.
intelligent. They've found that what we're still seeking.
Yes.
When you're when you're happy, show it. When you're sad, show it. When you want to give comfort, I
Yes.
reckon animals and especially dogs have found that intelligent
Yes.
level already.
They're far more intelligent and aware than we think than we know they are, aren't they, really?
They are.
And nothing like having a faithful dog or a faithful cat, for that matter, or a faithful horse. I love horses too.
Yeah. And like I said, I think you could going that deep in that story for me. And as I said, I think your two children and, sadly what your son now is going through. I don't know if you want to name him,
Yeah.
but because I want to keep privacy for you and him. But and then like I said, having a strong son-in-law like Gary, I think that's another thing what must have meant so much to you through that time, and now being your best friend and being there for you. Okay, coming close to the end, just a bit about the art. What are you doing now in art, and what are you traveling? How often are you painting, and what's happening there?
Every year we go. I've seen the last 20 Archibald prizes. Every year we go down to see the Archibald prize. Sometimes we've been in Canberra, Sydney, Melbourne, but nowadays we just go to when it does the country circuit. So we go to places like Tamworth and Dubbo and Port Macquarie and places like that. So that's a trip every year. We go down to see the Archibald Prize, which is Australia's major prize for art. And then, as I said, I'm a fellow of the Royal Queensland Art Society, and I'm involved in exhibitions all the time. And right now, I haven't painted anything other than my country for years. Really, I've just got so many. I've just started one last night. It's a little country town, which I took a photo of. Big mountains in the background as usual.
Yeah.
A few little country houses, probably about 30 people in the town, a few trees and a foreground with a few bushes, and a bit different. But I just finished one of the Outback Australia, which is just a whole lot of colours. We do mainly small ones. This is only 10 by 12 inches.
Okay.
They sell for about 200.
Okay.
3,000 is the most I've sold a painting for. So they're not too expensive, They're within people's pockets, usually about the $300 or $400, that sort of mark.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm doing it, so I could go weeks without doing one.
Okay.
But otherwise, I might do 3 in a week, Yeah.
Okay. And you said you're so busy now. Is that with the art, and what else are you doing on the
Also,
side?
Lions. I'm very busy in Lions. Also, I've been a member of Lions International.
Okay.
For 50 years.
Okay.
I received a special badge earlier this year for being a 50-year member.
Excellent.
And I joined that Lions in BOR.
Okay.
And then I transferred to the Bedford Lions Club in England, then to the Toowoomba Lions Club in Toowoomba, and now I'm a member of the Brisbane Bunya Lions Club, based out in the western suburbs.
And sorry about, and for people who may not know what that is, can you just give us a little explanation?
Lions work for the community. One of our major benefactors is the medical research. We do a lot for medical research. Where anybody who needs help, they'll contact the Lions Club, and we'll go and do something to help them. We sell Lions Christmas cakes, very famous Lions Christmas cakes and puddings. We have run sausage sizzles at Bunnings and do that sort of, and we look after parks and gardens. We're always trying to raise money to. At the end of the year, we disperse all the money we've raised to whoever contacts us for help.
Okay.
And a very great worldwide organisation, about 1.5 million people in Lions throughout the world.
Okay.
Great. And also, I play golf every week.
Okay.
Every Wednesday, I play with a group of old fellas like myself, and we just have a little competition, win a little prize. And
are you a golf watcher as well? You love watching golf?
I love my favourite sport to watch on TV is golf.
So I told when we were doing a pre-recording, I told you about Mike Ferguson, who is who's his brother-in-law passed away in America. So that we just did that podcast last time. He's won a few awards around Australia and around the world.
Right.
So yeah. And when did the love of golf come?
BOR. Yeah, when I was at BOR in 1973, 5, 6, 7.
Yep.
There was a local golf course there, so I started playing with one of my staff members and one of my students also. Yeah. And one day I actually played with Ian Baker Finch, who comes from the Glasshouse Mountains, BOR area. Yeah. He was 13 or 14 at the time, and he was off a handicap of 4. And he thrashed us, Yeah, he was just so good. Yeah. And I haven't seen him since. He wouldn't remember me, of course, but even then, we could see that he's going to be big time.
Okay.
And then everywhere I've gone, then I've played golf. Played golf in England. I played golf in Norfolk Island, and
Okay. And anything else? Is there anything else? Because that's busy enough. What do you and Pam like doing together? What do you two enjoy?
We go for picnics, actually. If we say, let's go for a picnic on Sunday or something, so we just find somewhere about 50 kilometres away, in nice little park somewhere, we have a picnic lunch, because Pam's not very mobile. We can't really, she can't walk a long way. She can't climb stairs. And so she can't come into the city with me. She can't catch buses like I do.
Yep.
I'm often into the city. And
so
we do that together, and we're just good mates.
Yeah.
Basically, we're really close mates.
Well, I remember meeting you two many years ago at a Christmas party at Gary's.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was a Christmas party, but it was many. And I can remember meeting your son and all that. I remember going to your grandchildren as well. But that's the first time I ever had a full not full, but the first time today I spoke to Pam. Right. She's got a wicked sense of humour. She really does. Yes. And she's got, like you said, you two are going through a very emotional time. And when we get to talking about that, she's very emotional, like Gary is and yourself is. I'm not saying anyone's more than the other. but she does carry a present with her when she walks in, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does.
She does. She really does. And
She's quite a character, really.
I enjoyed it. It's just
Oh, yeah.
I really sat down and enjoyed just having that time with her, and she's sympathetic as well because
Yeah,
I was talking about what my issues, but
yeah.
and it's not something I look for sympathy for at all, never.
Right.
But she's sympathetic. But I felt aura when she walked through the house, and I want you to tell her that
Oh, yeah.
there was something about her, and as well yourself
Yeah.
when Karen was cutting your hair, you used to come in and she enjoyed the talks with you, and she enjoyed just seeing, your level of intelligence and the talk what you have. So I want to thank
Yeah.
both yous for that.
Yeah, she's quite a character. She's got a great. We pay out on each other all the time.
Yes.
I remember once we were there's a place called the Art Shed at Wollongabba.
Yeah, where you buy your paint stuff.
All my paint stuff. We're in there, and the girl was moving through there. I was with Pam, and this girl's trying to get past these big easels and sort of things blocking her. She says, "Wait till I move this. Just wait till I move this big ugly thing out of the way." I said, "Oh, don't worry about it. I've been married to her for 50 years." She didn't know which way to look. But we do that sort of thing all the
Well,
time.
that's great. No,
Yeah.
me and Karen, we have a great sense of humor. Of course, with my disability, it's even better to have that sense of humor.
Yeah.
And even I saw Gary there today, and he jokes with you guys. You said he's your best mate.
Yeah.
But I can see the love that Pam has for Gary, and the jokes aside,
yeah,
I think they just have probably just as more of a joke than you two.
Yes, they do. They hate each other, inverted commas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But
yes.
how amazing! That's how
Yeah,
kind of
they're very close.
It's now a sister and brother thing again, isn't it? Like a mother and son thing. They just got this connection, and I think that's
Yeah.
great.
She was a childcare. She worked in childcare for a long time, for many years.
Yeah.
And she worked in the valley. There's a great Croatian kindergarten there in the valley for many years. And when people used to ask us, what do you do? And we'd say, oh, of course, she was in childcare and I was a school principal. So we say, oh, we're both in pest control. Okay.
Oh, okay. See, I like
Very nice.
I like the sense of last couple of questions I'm going to finish off with. There's one of the questions I actually had there today. If you could go back in time, any time, I don't care, back to the 1800s, the 1600s, where do you think you would go back to and why?
I'd go back to the 50s, I think.
Yeah.
Nothing back further than that. The world's been, there's been so much cruelty in the world. I mean, you read history. I mean, people, it's just unbelievable how cruel people can be to each other.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have wanted to go through World War II and all the suffering, what they did, what Hitler did to the Jews, for example.
Of course not, no.
And in the 60s, I mean, I love the 60s because that's when I was a Beatle maniac. I saw the Beatles in concert, went to their concert in Brisbane.
Okay.
And I loved all the rock and roll of the 60s, but the world started to loosen up a bit then.
Yeah.
And the teenage culture sort of became stronger and kids didn't listen to their parents as much.
Yeah.
And since then, there's a little sort of more tension in society, I think. The 50s, recovering from the war, the future looks great. And even though I was only a kid, I mean, I was only... At the end of the 50s, I was 13 or 15 or something. And so I didn't really know about the problems of the world, I guess. But it felt nice and peaceful and easy. So I'd probably bet the 1950s, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And right now, if it wasn't for the fact that we're going to lose Dane, everything would be sweet, you know?
Okay.
Because we've still got each other. We've been together for over 60 years and we still love each other. And
Yeah. And I was going to say, if you... if someone, I'm going to ask you two people, I'm going to ask you to think who would come on the podcast. And hopefully you like my style, and then then I'm going to ask you about what grades you're going to give me today. Someone who would you, and hopefully you like how I run the interview, who do you know, or someone you know well that you think would suit this podcast?
I'm thinking of a fellow called Glenn Gillard.
I heard the name.
He's an artist.
Yeah.
He actually does murals. If you go to Bowen, there's a dozen big shops and buildings in Bowen that has his murals all over them.
Okay.
He's a Christian, a strong Christian man, a really lovely fellow, and also a fellow of the Royal Queensland Art Society. And we get together every now and then for a coffee. But I've also got a really good mate who lives up in the Fassifern Valley near Lake Mugara, Robert Chapman. Yeah. And we get together every month or so in the city, and we have a coffee and have lunch and just walk around and talk.
Okay.
He lives all by himself up there, but he's a very interesting bloke to talk to.
Okay.
I can just think of that. I've got other mates elsewhere out of Brisbane.
Okay.
Those
Well,
two come to mind. Put it that way.
I might throw that out there one day and see if
Yeah.
you can get 'em. And if you had to had someone well known, wouldn't know yourself, someone famous, someone I don't care what industry where they're from.
Mm.
Who would you like to? As you said, you haven't ever really heard a podcast before or sat
Yeah,
back.
I don't know
Who,
anything about podcasts.
who would you like to sit back and hear now? How I run this, you would like to sit back and hear their story. Someone famous in the world.
Someone famous. I can't think of anybody.
No,
Sorry.
no, it's all right.
In other words, nobody just jumps into my
No,
mind.
no, that's fine.
But if you gave me time and I think about, oh yeah, that'd be good.
No, it's
But
okay.
right now I can't think of
No,
it.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, before I ask you for my grading, because we'll finish off on that, I want to say thanks. I hopefully you felt like you felt okay with how we talked.
Yes.
You enjoyed how I kind of run the interview and kind of guide people into different areas of their lives.
Right.
I want to say, I was very careful because I know it's a very emotional time for your whole entire family with Sherry and your son. And I'm just not naming him because I'm going to let you do that. I just want to get privacy in case they're keeping his privacy. And, to go that deep and emotional, I just want to say thank you for that because, you didn't have to, but I hopefully that in little ways will help other people, and it gives me a little bit understanding as well, gives me understanding of, how it is.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for allowing me to take you there and you to explain that today. So I really appreciate that. And, I'm going to thank Gary who brought you down today and Pam and yourself. And I hope you enjoyed it. And now, as I said, I wasn't the greatest student. Can you tell me about my how I presented today and my research? What would you give me as a headmaster and a teacher today?
I'm not going to keep you in after school, put it that way.
Okay.
I'd give it 10 out of 10, mate.
Okay.
Honestly, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I've talked about things that I don't talk about often. And I didn't know what you were going to ask me or what I was to talk about.
Yeah.
And those things just sort of flowed into my mind, and you allowed me to just talk about the experiences. Yeah, I loved every bit of it.
Okay.
And you're very nice and calm and peaceful, and yeah, loved it.
Well, that's what we try for. So for number 8, I'm gonna help you learn how to watch it. Listen to the podcast. So it'll be one of your first podcasts. You'll hear yourself. And I thank you for coming down. And Heinz, I think he would have enjoyed it because he's real great. So thanks Heinz for being part of all the audio stuff he's doing in the background as well. And thanks for you coming on, Max. And
Thank you, Alan.
we'll look forward to talking to you soon. Okay.
Good on you, mate. All the best.
Thank you.